Good old Terry. All right, so you have no idea about this, but we're totally live. So if anybody wants to ask questions, they can ask questions. We can go there. If anybody's out there and you have any questions, because I know the topic of this is that HR actually is not as boring as you think, because I think it's terrible. You know, I would I know, Terry, you're a fancy HR gal, but you have to know that for everybody else in life, HR is something to be avoided. You know, yeah,
So sad.
let me tell you, why do you think that people hate HR so much?
What do they? I think their experiences probably have not been the most positive sometimes. So, usually the only time you ever get to see the HR person is if there's a challenge or a problem, or maybe when you're a brand new hire, when you're already nervous and have a lot going on. So, I don't think there's enough interaction with the HR team members and the average population in a company. They got to get to know us.
Well, but every time we get to know you, you tell us we're doing something wrong or something we're not allowed to say.
Not true. Not true.
Yes.
You Usually you come in to ask a question, right? As a leader, as a manager in an organization. So yeah, I think it's hard to ask for advice or to ask for help. But I think a lot of times the managers are only coming in when there is a problem. And we have to engage earlier on and get people talking about very proactive things, growth minded things, not just, hey, I've got an issue and I need to help resolve it. Because at
Yeah,
that
but
point, it's too late.
let's say I'm an employee. I'm having a problem with my manager. If I go to you to tell on my manager, obviously that manager is going to find out, and I'm going to make everything worse. You know, it's just easier for me to find another job.
Yeah, it's tough. People kind of take a route sometimes that way that's not the most beneficial for them or the organization. Again, it goes back to communication, right? Setting great goals and objectives and communicating appropriately. And we don't do that. We don't do things that are foundational that help people be successful in organizations. So we're not
Who doesn't do
transparent.
it?
Who
So,
doesn't?
like
The,
what? Like okay, let me change this. So, me as an employee, what should I expect from you as an HR person? Because like I don't know, if my life is trying to avoid you, um, I don't know if something I don't know. So far, HR people have done nothing for me. So, what should I expect from HR people?
So HR people are there in a support role, right? We're not just there to come in and say, hey, we're going to just hire you and we're going to just fire you. The role of HR is to help leaders in the organization, to help the employees of an organization manage things like culture and growth and development, retention. There's so many things that HR can help an organization do that is more strategic. What's happened traditionally is that we become the firefighters. We're the counselors, where every time somebody's got a problem, and that's where you go. And HR should not be a place that you go. It should not just be a person that you go see. It's kind of part of a whole organization about how you care for people and how you help them grow and develop. So, again, I know traditionally you probably have experienced it in a not so positive way, but there's an evolution happening with HR. And again, along the lines of how can we be more strategic and help the business?
Well, Chris Stone, my man, is over here talking to you. You see, Chris Stone, I've been trying to get her to go live forever, and she's too chicken. And so I just lied to her and said that we weren't going live, and we are. So you have to ask her a question. So, Chris Stone, by the way, world's greatest producer known to mankind. Uh, Terry, okay, so I got it. That's what they're supposed to do, but they don't do it. But again, I'm the employee. How does that? You say you're trying to help the organization, but how does it help me as the employee?
How does it help
I mean,
you?
how is it supposed to help me as the employee? Because big deal. You get a new job, they give you, a laptop, or and you go through this onboarding thing. You click around for a bunch of different things. You get insurance, and then what?
And then what? And then that's where you have a manager, right? That's supposed to help you build objectives and goals and interact with you in your daily routine. HR is there in a way to help you grow and develop. not just, hey, let me come to you because I have a problem. Our goal, especially here at Interaction, is that you have the data that you need, not to just have to wait till a problem is so big that you have to go to HR to get somebody else to solve it. We want to help you with skill development, with career planning and progression. Those are the kind of things that HR would like to help organizations do.
Okay, yeah. So now the big problem right now, actually, it's not. What are you seeing right now, by the way, in terms of employees? Is it getting easier or harder to find employees, or is there a shift happening right now? Because it seems like people are, they're looking for work again.
There's a lot going on with the Great Resignation, as they've called it in the past, and somebody else just recently called it the Great Reshuffle. There's a lot happening. So people who have traded positions and gone somewhere else, sometimes for better benefits, sometimes for more money, a lot of those people are leaving already. So the promises of what they were hoping to get maybe didn't come to fruition, or maybe they realized that, grass isn't always greener. But I think what is happening is people are not content, people are not happy, and they can't really figure out why. And so when everything gets kind of crazy around you and you reshuffle and you relook at your life, you say, hey, there's other things that are more important to me, and this company might not provide those things. It's a lifestyle that maybe I'm looking for. So,
and one of those things, by the way, is recognition. And my man Chris Stone, look at the nicest thing that he says. Terri, you're quite a trooper. Going live is your thing. Look at that. You see?
You're awesome, Chris. Thank you. Thank you.
He said, everybody, even if he's lying, it still feels good.
Still feels good.
Yeah. That's right. So you got to throw away those things. And it does that happen? Why don't companies just do that? I mean, if that's all you need, sometimes people just need a little appreciation to feel good, to stick around and all that stuff. Why don't they just do that?
I think there's a misunderstanding about what recognition is valuable to people. So everyone's different. So for some people, it's money. For some people, it's the pat on the back. And for other people, right, it's quality time. Like, I need you to spend a little extra time with me. So you got to get to know an individual well enough to know what recognition is valuable to them. But people do love being recognized. And if you have a platform and a tool that can do that and give you visibility, not just one person to one person, but the whole organization, you really start to be more strategic about recognition. So I do think that there's huge opportunities for people to be recognized.
Right. So again, but there's been programs on Chris Stone. I'm calling him a liar. Is it? Well, that's right. He does my Wednesday show where he's calling HR. You see, that's the problem. That's why people always try to avoid you guys like to play. No, but listen, there's been platforms, you said, forever to offer recognition. And in fact, even in the sales world, there's tons of these, it's how easy it is to leave a recommendation for somebody or a testimonial for somebody. They give you all these things, but nobody does it anyway.
Right.
Well, and so why is it that people don't do it? And if there's a way that you could, how can we do it?
Right.
Make it easy for me.
Make it easy for you. So yeah, so there are platforms, there are some amazing platforms out there that you can use to give recognition for someone's birthday or an anniversary with the organization and tie that to some type of gift. What we're trying to do at Interaction is change some behaviors and have you recognize people for the core values of your company. That starts to really change a culture and drive whatever environment that you want to have in your organization. But it isn't easy to do that. So somebody going and giving recognition to someone, we recently just talked to an organization and it's on paper, right? So if you want to give something to someone, you got to write it down and turn it in. Or even if you are going to go do it, you have to get into the system and it's a pain in the neck to have to go do that. And what we did at Interaction, we said, how can we send something to someone and make it easy so they're not having to spend a lot of time to give it? Because if you have to go out and give a review or any kind of feedback to someone, and it's not handy and ready for you right in that moment, sometimes you don't do it. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people don't get the recognition that they deserve. So in our space,
wait, Brad is asking the question, why don't companies do it? Because it's just so easy. And your answer is because it's a pain in the neck.
Yeah. And there hasn't been the right technology out there to make it easy. Right. So to be able to say, hey, once a week in our platform, once a week, an inspiration, we call them, that's our recognition for core values. Once a week, an inspiration is sent to you and you can reply to it and recognize somebody in the organization for one of the core values. if you don't make it easy, then people won't follow through and continue to do it. And not just easy to access, but something that's automated as opposed to something you have to go out and do.
So you mean they'll get an email
Yeah.
once a week to remind them, hey, reply to this and give somebody some credit for something
Right.
from employee. I mean, what could be easier? So, so Chris Stone, being the marketing genius that he is, he's yelling at you right now. Before he was telling how good you are, but now he's yelling at you. I know that's a question mark, but really it's an exclamation point, and veins are coming out of his neck with anger. Why don't you just have an online demo that I can see what this is what he's saying.
Do you want me to give him a demo?
And what'd you say?
We will show him an online demo. We could definitely
we do it. I'm sure we'll link to one.
Yes. We'll share our link
that we have. But yeah, it's really cool. Stone, it's really cool. I'm telling you, it's just, you just get an email. Even Brad, stop putting exclamations in my mouth.
Y'all are funny.
So, Brad Abbott, if you're still there, just got started with a new company. And so Brad Abbott, if you are still there, ask, you need to tell me the name of your company so we can put Terri in front of them. All right. So that's for employees. They can give recognition. I got it, Terri. But let's say I'm a manager. Great. So everybody in the company is putzing around doing all their things over there. What about me? I still have to do my year-end reviews.
Yeah, year-end reviews are tough. No one loves them. 95% of people do not like the process, especially managers. It's a lot of work to try to go back and find data and information about an employee. A lot of times we don't set good goals and objectives, so people haven't even, been given anything to go and give feedback on. But at Interaction, we try to make it super simple again, because what people need to know is, what am I expected to do? And then receive feedback along the way about how they're doing. What we do traditionally is we give a year-end review. Well, at that point, it's too late to course correct, and people are sometimes disappointed in the feedback that they're receiving. So the year-end review should never be, it should not exist. There shouldn't be a year-end review. There's no value. What you need is real-time feedback that people get on goals and objectives that are current and meaningful, that actually drive like some value. Like, people don't show up to work to do a shitty job. People don't show up to work to not complete tasks or assignments. But if they don't know what they're supposed to be doing, it's very difficult for them to accomplish that, or to accomplish it in a way that's acceptable to the leader. So there has to be more communication, better defined goals and objectives, and it has to be in real time.
All right. But if the managers aren't giving you the reviews, where are you getting them from?
If the managers, if you didn't have a year-end review?
Yeah, I mean, how are you finding out if you're good or not?
Sure, you still get feedback from your manager, but you're going to get it from your peers. You're going to get it from all the people that you interact with on a daily basis, right? And all of that's automated. So it's not some heavy thing. I can't even tell you how many times people have come to me in HR and said, it's so unfair that the work that I do doesn't get recognized because nobody has any visibility. None, right? So the value in giving people their own data, collecting it from the people that they interact with, not only can they be more productive and improve the skills that they have, they can be accountable for it, because again, you're not waiting till the end of the year to get the data.
And how are you supposed to remember it anyhow?
You don't.
I mean, literally, what did you have for dinner last Friday?
I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I did that day at work either, or how I prepared. You're right.
I had pizza. It was so good. That pizza place it's unbelievable.
It is good.
It's so good, and it's big too, which is both good and bad, because I'm a 3 slice. How many slices do you normally eat?
One.
Huh. Impossible. You have 1 slice?
Well, when I eat there, I do. It's gigantic.
Yeah, it's a big slice. So that changes your mind. All right, big slice. All right, so that's the manager's HR. So you're saying that with Interaction, you're not going to have to do year-end reviews anymore.
You're not going to do year-end reviews. It's a waste. I could not tell you one person who said, I can't wait to do the year-end review, or I cannot wait to get my year-end review. No
Okay.
value, zero.
All right. Do you realize that you have gone live now for 15 minutes? And here's what happened. Steven Jackson, I'm going to bring your question up in a second, but here's what happened. You didn't die.
I did not die.
You didn't die. It didn't work. All right. I didn't even read this question ahead of time, but Steven Jackson is a good-looking guy there on LinkedIn. The people that have good pictures on LinkedIn are forces to be reckoned with. Okay. We changed to a quarterly review cycle because yearly review was too infrequent. Now people are saying quarterly is too frequent. What's your recommended review cycle? Oh my gosh. This is like insanity. What company do you work for, Steven Jackson? All right.
So, Steven, I love it because what people have done is they took that heavy year-end review cycle that no one loved, and then they said, okay, we're going to do it a few times a year now. Well, they didn't fix the process. So it's still an ugly process that you have to do more often. What we're trying to say is an individual needs their own data to know how they're doing. If you had a goal that you needed to improve empathy, that was a skill you were working on. 3 times a year, 4 times a year, going back and saying, hey, how are you doing with empathy, and having the manager rate you on that isn't that valuable. But if as you interact with people and you have behaviors that you're expected to exhibit, if people were giving you feedback throughout the year on that, again, it's not a process. It's not a defined moment in time where you're getting a review. Every day you're getting feedback on how you're doing. And that type of micro feedback is changing habits. It's building these habits in you to change behaviors that in small increments actually lead to you psychologically changing a behavior. That's what we're after. And we're saying, don't make some formal process where you push a button and all your data comes in and somebody is judging you on a task list. It's just, let me get this feedback on things that I'm trying to work on all year round.
And it comes basically, you just get an email, and so how do you know? How does the computer know, or interaction know, that I've had a meeting with Steven Jackson?
Yeah, how you've interacted, which kind of how we came up with the name interaction. We connect to multiple things, multiple ways we can get feedback on how people are interacting. So we connect to calendar systems, scheduling systems. So we understand who is interacting in an organization, and then the system will automatically, after a cadence that's been established by your organization, will send you surveys to fill out. And those surveys, again, are based on the people that you interact with. And we're not saying, hey, do you think that Dan's
wait, hold on, because tell me, you use the word survey, and all of a sudden I got this cramp in my leg. It's just, so how many questions is this survey?
1.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I'm trying to, Chris Stone, I'm trying to teach this woman how to sell. And she says the word survey, which is like a nightmare. Yeah, so that's the coolest thing, Steven. What happens is, and next time we do this, you're going to have some slides there that we could show what interaction is. But yeah, the coolest thing, it just attaches to your calendar. They know you're talking to each other. Boom. By the way, nobody sends it out. It's all AI, so it's done automatically. You don't even have to think about it. And you get these little things. You press a button, see you later, potato, your end of your story. And all that data gets drifted up to the HR people, and they can make, catch, the biggest thing is you want to catch when people are discontented and they start looking for another job. I've never had a situation where you fired somebody too soon. You always waited too late, or somebody thought I should hang on. As soon as you get it in your head, it's time to go. You're already done in your head. So you're able to stave off. It saves a lot of money, saves people from leaving. And what about Miss Terri? There are some times when people work at certain places and they are not liked by someone in management, and it causes problems. But everybody else might like them, but one person doesn't. What would happen then? Let's say someone really doesn't like me.
Somebody really doesn't like you. It's a lot of things happen. There's a morale issues that happen for you, right? So challenges, so you're frustrated. Depends on if it's a peer that doesn't like you, it's a manager that doesn't like you. I think a lot of times people assume that someone doesn't like them. They don't have a lot of data to go on. So we have biases, we have a lack of data and understanding. So people make a lot of assumptions. And I would say, again, 80% of the time someone came to me saying, hey, I'm disliked, I'm being treated unfairly. Once we started digging into it, it was a lack of communication or these assumptions that were being made. And unfortunately, it negatively impacts that person. Sometimes they exit, sometimes they cause morale challenges, right? We spend a majority of our time at work when we're disgruntled, trying to bring other people on board with us. And that negativity just breeds. So again, if you don't have data and you're not discussing that real-time data, then you're not able to actually proactively do something positive with that.
Yeah, you're not clear. All right, tell your one story about the mirror thing.
Mirror thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah. 'Cause I
the
know
way
you're
the way I've tried to describe it for individuals is, I don't know how many people have actually been camping or been somewhere where they needed to look into a mirror and they didn't have a nice shiny clean mirror. They had the old metal one that was in the bathroom and you can't really see yourself that well. Somebody mentioned a 4-H camp, kind of, you got that old mirror. You can kind of see yourself, but it's blurry. And if you turn to your friend and you said, hey, do I look good? And you smile really big and you've got something in your teeth. If you ask me if I look good, I'm probably just going to say yes. And I probably am not going to be like, oh, you got something in your teeth, unless I really, really care about you. And we're camping, who really cares? And you can't see it for yourself. That difference in having a clean mirror, if I had looked at myself in the mirror, I would have noticed there was something in my teeth.
Mhm.
If I had said to my friend, hey, can you let me know if I have something in my teeth? Not do I look good, but very specifically, do I have something in my teeth? The response that I'm going to get is very different. And that's the way that I see data in the workplace on performance is, if I very specifically ask someone, hey, do you see me exhibit these behaviors that are defined? I'll get an answer that I think is very true and genuine. If I just ask them if they think I'm doing a good job and I'm asking for some feedback, they're probably going to do something that's a little kinder. So we're looking to give some true, deep, transparent data to individuals so they can be accountable, and advance positively, and do that in real time.
And so the company gets great data, the employee gets great data, and everybody lives happily ever after and has flowers and butterflies and
Everybody wins.
everything. Human resources good. Terri Etheridge, you're awesome. Thank you for not running out once I told you that this was live. And I appreciate you. And we're going to do it again, right?
And we're going to do it again. And I appreciate you, Deej, getting this out because, again, a lot of people do feel like HR is not that valuable and that, they're just somebody you come to when you have a huge problem. And what we really want to do is we really want to help you not have that problem to start with.
Awesome. All right. See you next time. Take it easy.
Bye.